Masks have a long history, from Iranian masks protecting women from the patriarchal oppression, to masks of Northwest Coast Indians, to masks worn as a political statement. They take on different religious, social, and political roles. This project is inspired by the historical masks worn by the Bandari women from the southern Iran. It has been said that these masks were developed during Portuguese colonial rule as a way of protecting the wearer from the gaze of slave masters looking for pretty women. While these masks cover most of the wearer's face, except the eyes, I've been wondering how eyes could be used as an expressive medium for communication. In my research, I came across an interesting incident in which an American soldier uses his blinking for sending a secret message. In this video, you're seeing Admiral Jeremiah Denton blinking the word torture using Morse code during his captivity in Vietnam.
Definite love. Do you think that's present about?
Well, I don't know what is happening, but whatever the position of my government is, I support it fully. Whatever the position of my government is, I believe in it. Yes, sir. I am a member of that.
The use of code for communication is nothing new, and in fact, women during this lockdown have come up with code words as a method for reporting domestic abuse. I've been wondering how we could create a new language for communication of secret messages between women. In this, I'm particularly inspired by a recent experiment involving two AI bots at Facebook AI Lab. The intention was to monitor how two bots might develop a dialogue. However, during the experiment, the bots started to formulate their own language, a language that no human could understand. The researchers had to intervene and tweak the algorithms to prevent this happening. The story reveals that knowledge is power, and the inability to understand unnerved those who wish to maintain their authority. The design of these 3D printed masks is informed by the Langer lines of the human skin. Langer lines are topological lines in the skin which corresponds to the natural orientation of the fibers in the dermis and are perpendicular to the orientation of the fibers underneath. Each mask fabricated using SLS 3D printing technologies and consists of 18 electromagnetic actuators with fake eyelashes which give the illusion of 18 blinking eyes looking at the viewer. One of the challenging tasks was to control the behavior of the array of electromagnetic actuators using custom-made electrical boards, which receive the signals from the microcontroller and translate them into electrical impulses controlling the rotation of each actuator. We also have produced a very small custom-made proximity sensor which is embedded inside the mask above the wearer's eye and track the openness of the wearer's eyelid. This information controls the speed of the actuator's movements. On each mask, 6 actuators are connected to a custom-made electrical board. A total of 3 PCB driver boards, a small microcontroller, a small proximity sensor are all embedded inside the mask. Others, as the subject, pretends it has no geopolitical. None of the previous sentences probably make sense. That's because a human did not write those sentences. It is produced by a machine using something called Markov chain. Markov chain is a common machine learning algorithm for simulating statistically modeled random processes. Basically, it is a system that transitions between states using probabilities. It is used, for instance, to determine the probability of a sunny day after a full day of rain. Note that we have states and transition probabilities. Markov chain has many different applications, including Google's PageRank, autocorrection, weather systems, Also, economics use it for sport forecasting. And lastly, natural language generation. Now let's look at the use of Markov chain to generate a text. In this example, in the word scale, the probability of ease going after sky and blue going after ease is considered to be 100%. If you add another sentence, for example, weather is cold, the probability of ease going after either weather or sky is going to be 100%, while the probability of the word cold or blue after ease is just 50%. The idea is that you can generate states based on the current state and the probability of what can come after that, so you can keep generating words based on the context. For the source text of this project, I used the seminal article "Can the Subaltern Speak?" by the feminist theorist Gayatri Spivak. She asked whether it might be possible for the colonized or the subaltern to have a voice in the face of colonial oppression. Similar to the previous example, the point of this example is to show how we can use Markov chain to create a text. We represent each word as a state, and transitions are the likelihood that a specific word goes after another, which in this case is 100%. We can consider states at word or character level. We can analyze what is the probability of a given letter appearing after 3 letters. For instance, the probability of a space after the. In the field of computational linguistics and probability, this is known as n-gram, which is a continuous sequence of n items from a given text. In this case, our n-gram is 3. The n-grams of a given text provide a strategy for generating the next text. The Markov chain could therefore be used to generate a text where each new letter is dependent on the previous letters. As the masks communicate using BLE protocol, the algorithm is repeated and the n-grams changes. The smaller the n-grams get, the less meaning in the generated text from the linguistic perspective. Each letter generated through this process is translated into Morse code, which informs the movement of the actuators. For instance, C is dash dot dash dot. The video documentation of this project, which will be shown shortly, you will see 2 women wear masks, covered with eyelashes controlled by AI. They begin to develop their own language to communicate with one another, blinking their eyelashes in rapid succession. The aim is to develop the secret message for transmitting information between multiple women. The project brings together the world of design, critical thinking, feminism, and AI.